Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's Yin session, we are going to slow things down and go deep, not just into our muscles and joints, but into the energetic layers of our body where tension, emotion, and memory can live. Now, today's session is called Laying It All Down, a journey through prone, different supine, and back bending postures that'll help us release, restore, and reconnect with ourselves. Now, as most of you are familiar, and also for those who are not familiar, in Yin Yoga, we hold postures for longer periods of time, allowing our body to settle and the nervous system to calm down. Now, while we're still in the body, it's, a lot is happening beneath the surface. And according to traditional Chinese medicine, our life force energy called qi flows through invisible rivers called meridians. And these meridians connect our internal organs, emotions, and our ability to process and heal. Now, at the same time, looking at it from a yoga philosophy perspective, from this standpoint, it teaches us about chakras, right? This is like the spinning energy centers that run along our spine. And each chakra corresponds to different aspects of our physical and emotional experience, from grounding and safety to love and intuition. So as we move through today's 7 postures, and I'll let you guys know what those are, we'll explore both systems together. So you'll hear me guide you through the alignment, breath, and then our bandhas, but also into the energy and the stories each posture holds. So postures we're going to focus on today is Balasana, child's pose, Bhujangasana, Cobra, Halasana, Snail, Matsyasana, fish, pose, and Rajakapotasana, pigeon. And then lastly, 2 more, Supta Virasana, which is our hero pose, and Setu Bandhasana, which is bridge. Then the bandhas I was talking about, that's more of, our breathing, energy locks. And so the 3 we'll focus on today are the Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandhas, and Jalandhara Bandhas. So you don't need to be flexible or spiritual to receive the benefits of today's practice. All you need is a willingness to just pause and be still, right? To feel, to lay something down physically, emotionally, and energetically, and make just making space for something new. So grab your bolster, grab a pillow, a couple blocks, or even a blanket to get comfy, and I will meet you on the mat. Now let's take a few minutes now to connect with our breath before we move into stillness. So go ahead and find a comfortable seated position or recline with support, whichever is in your practice today. And let your hands rest on your knees. And if you are laying down, just place them on your belly. Go ahead and gently close your eyes. And then take a few cleansing, natural breaths here, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And perhaps you start rocking in the rhythm of your inhale and exhale, just to get in sync with your breath and just to really come into the present. Now we'll introduce a breathing technique often used in yoga called our Ujjayi breath, also known as the ocean breath. Now, to begin, the easiest way to explain this is as if you're trying to fog up a mirror, but your lips are sealed and you're trying to fog it up through your nose. You're going to slightly contract the back of your throat, and again with your mouth closed. Inhale through your nose, And then go ahead and exhale. And just gently create, yes, that whispering sound in the back of your throat. Now continue with that breath. It's really subtle. It's, like imagine waves ebbing and flowing, crashing onto the shore. Good job. Now continue with your Ujjayi breath. Now we're going to start activating and engaging our energy locks. The first one will be our Mula Bandha, which is our root lock. Now I want you to bring your awareness to your pelvis or your perineum. And now as you take your next exhale, what I want you to do is to gently lift the muscles you're used to, stopping, like when you have to go to the bathroom. Or another way to explain it is if you're like doing a Kegel. Now, once you do that, again, it is a subtle lift, almost like drawing your pelvic floor upward and inward. Take a few breaths there so that you can, again, be present with that breath. Engaging your Mula Bandha. Because now we're going to move on to our Uddiyana Bandha, our abdominal lock. So on this next exhale, gently draw in your lower belly towards your spine, as if you're trying to suck it in. You can see your ribs. You start to lengthen your spine. Inhale, activating that Uddiyana Bandha. And then you should feel light upward motion, as if energy is starting to be drawn from the base of your spine into the center of your body. Now we're going to move on to the Jalandhara Bandha, which is our throat lock. I want you to now gently tuck your chin down, not too much. You're not, it's not all the way down. If you can see me here, it's tucking your chin down. You're not bringing your head all the way down. You're still keeping your neck back, kind of like you're trying to get that purposeful double chin, but your chin is down. And you're not forcing it. So bring your chin down a little bit more. Yes. Again, you're not forcing the neck, but just aligning the throat in a natural, elongated way. So as you exhale, you start to feel breath traveling through your spine towards your throat and just gently held there. Now we're going to bring all three of the bandhas together. So let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. And then big exhale, emptying out your lungs. Now sealing your lips, getting our Ujjayi breath in place. On your exhale, I want you to engage your Mula Bandha. So as if you're doing your Kegel. I want you to hold that Mula Bandha, keep it engaged. And now on that next exhale, draw in your Uddiyana Bandha. Pull your belly all the way in as if you're trying to put on a pair of tights. Continue your breath. Keep that activated. Again, you're not forcing anything here. You're just waking up the subtle energies in your body, learning to contain and direct it with ease. Now I want you to soften into your Jalandhara Bandha. So bringing your neck down, your chin down, activating that, our throat lock. Continue your breath. Activating your Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha, and your Jalandhara Bandha. Having those activated. And just let how that feeling, however you're feeling right now, just let that stay with you as we begin to move into our yin practice. We're going to use our breath, our Ujjayi breath. We're going to activate our bandhas, not to control our body. It's really there to help you feel more deeper and help you go deeper into our postures. So you can release your locks. take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. And then you can slowly blink open your eyes. How did that feel? Good. Good. Now, did it feel different when you're activating your mula bandha, you know, the bandhas, right? As we go from our base, right, our root, and then working all the way up to our throat. Did you feel anything different in your breath, or how, well, I don't want to put any words in your mouth, so how did that feel?
I feel good, the breathing that I did.
Good. Awesome. You look very relaxed opening your eyes. All right, so now that we have our breath, we're familiar with our Ujjayi breath, our bandhas, we are going to now start our practice. And our first posture is Balasana, child's pose. And I mentioned earlier, I wanted to share a little bit more about, you know, traditional Chinese medicine, and then intertwining that with yogic philosophies. So when we're in Balasana, you know, the meridians, right, the river of energy that, you know, flows through our bodies. In Balasana, the meridians that it encompasses would be our kidney and our bladder. Now, when we look at it from a chakras perspective, and I know we talked a little bit about that, you know, a few classes ago, the child's pose really, it nourishes our root chakra, or our Muladhara chakra. And so when we're in child's pose, and as you're in this posture, you know, it's really about grounding. It's about protection, surrender. And so let's go ahead and come into child's pose. So your knees can either be together or apart, whatever is in your practice today. So you can bring your knees as far out as the mat, or you can bring them together. So we're going to bring our arms, let's bring our arms up overhead and just slowly fold over towards your mat, reaching towards the top of your mat. Begin to breathe into your lower back. Start to feel your back body, right? Start to feel that gently expanding with your breath. So here you can inhale through your nose and just continue that Ujjayi breath. Now you also have your props. So if it's in your practice and you want to be a little bit more comfortable, just to bring the mat up closer to your body, you may use a bolster, which you can just simply place underneath your torso, just kind of like right below your in your chest area. Would you like to try it with a bolster?
Okay.
Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. So simply lift up a little bit. There. Is that good? Mm-hmm. So this is if you would like assistance, you can grab your bolster and just simply fall and melt into it. Just relaxing your body, continuing your breath, Ujjayi breath. Now this posture, it does activate our kidney meridians, and it's, you know, this part of this meridian area, it is related to fear and vitality. And the bladder meridian, which governs our nervous system, the root chakra lives here too. Oh, I gotta start all over, sorry.
Okay. Ate, can you push me here?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I want to practice yung tamang pose talaga.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
ganun, pag ganun.
Okay, so we're gonna start all over.
Okay. No, cover the side. Okay.
I know. Crisscross applesauce, remember, you're in that. Okay. All right, now that we have our breathing in place, we're familiar with Ujjayi breath, we're present, we activated our bandhas, we are now ready to get into our first posture of our session, which is Balasana, child's pose. When we look at Balasana from the traditional Chinese medicine, you know, the meridians that it impacts is our kidney and our bladder meridians. And then from a chakras perspective, it is our Muladhara, our root chakra. And so I want you, as you get into your posture, start to think about grounding, right? That's the type of just the energies that we want to cultivate. Grounding, protection, surrender. So let's come into child's pose. So go ahead and you can bring your knees out as wide as your mat or bring them together. And would you like to use them? And then for those of you who are at home, if you have a bolster, you can definitely use a bolster to help bring the mat up closer to your body and just to also be comfortable since we will be holding this posture for a few minutes. So would you like to use a bolster today? So go ahead and come down into child's pose, resting your chest or your torso on top of the bolster. And you can make the adjustments on how you want it. You can bring it down closer if you'd like. And there's no right or wrong. It's about how you feel. Now, if you are not using any props, for the rest of your body, let your forehead rest on the mat or on a block. And just begin to breathe into your low back. Feel your back body gently expanding and just easing into the movement. Now, Frolene is one of my students, and she always loves the extra push. So if you have a partner at home, you can also have them guide you a little bit, but she does like the little extra pressure here. So all I'm doing is just helping her ease and kind of just stretch into. Just relax, continue your breath. Now this posture does activate our kidney meridians. It is related to fear and vitality. And the bladder meridians as well, which governs the nervous system. The root chakra also lives here as well, reminding us just to ground as we're here, using our breath. Just relaxing your arms, relaxing your hands, and just sitting into stillness. Now, as you're here in Balasana, start to ask yourself, where do you feel most at home in your body? What is that, what roots you into this world? And as you start to feel your hips sink lower, tap into your root chakra, your Muladhara, your base, your security, right? When is it and when do you feel that, whenever it's out of balance? And when that happens, that's oftentimes where it cultivates a lot of anxiety or you're just all over the place. And in child's pose or Balasana, allow the earth just to hold more of your weight, right? Just sink into the posture, melt into the mat. Start to bring awareness to your tailbone, your root. And this is where you begin. With every exhale, just simply let go of anything that doesn't support you at the moment. And just know that you're not falling apart. You're really just falling into place. And don't resist any micro movements that may happen as you're here. That is expected with every breath, right? Breath to movement. As you exhale, you're just letting your body go, just letting it fall into the posture. Now let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. And then big exhale, releasing all the air. And then from here, taking your time slowly, using your hands to simply walk and push your way back up into a seated position. And just taking your time. And then once you're here, I want you to simply bring your hands up overhead and just take a nice little back bend, just looking back, just a skosh. Yeah. And then go ahead and inhale, come back up into center, and then bring everything down. Bring your hands down to the top of your knees. And you can blink open your eyes.
Okay.
How was that?
That was great.
Yeah. Good, good, good. And I did notice, did you notice, because I can see it, you're starting to like just simply sink deeper and deeper into the posture. So was there anything that you want to share, or like the experience, or something that that came up while you were in Balasana?
I feel good. I feel like I'm in a other place.
Oh my
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I know, maybe because of the breathing and the concentration also.
Yeah, very cool. Well, awesome. Well, now we are going to move into our Bhujangasana Cobra. Oh, wait, stay there. Bhujangasana, okay. Bhujangasana. All right, so now we're going to move on to our next posture, which is Bhujangasana, which is Cobra pose. And this is going to be the Yin variation. So again, the meridians as we're here, Bhujangasana focuses around our heart, our lungs, and our stomach. From a chakras perspective, it nourishes our anahata, our heart chakra. So here it's really about softening and lengthening your body. And here we're going to activate our Uddiyana Bandha for lower back support. So let's lower down. And again, if you have your bolster or props, feel free to use them. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower all the way down to our belly. And this will actually come up a little bit higher underneath your chest. So go ahead and lower down to your body, and I'll bring this to you. So,
Okay.
Yep, and your hands can be under your shoulders, or just come up into a sphinx pose with your forearms down. So I'll let you kind of pick whatever feels good for you, and then just simply let your chest lift up with just minimal effort. So go ahead, inhale, lift up. Yes. So this is one way of being in Cobra. Well, actually, it's Sphinx, but if you are wanting to go into Cobra, it is just bring your hands down lower to your shoulders, yeah, okay. And then push your way up, yep. And this is Cobra. So again, do what feels good in your body today. So whichever one you go with, you want to make sure you keep your pelvis grounded, and just let your breath rise naturally into the chest, and then soften with each exhale. Now, do you want to use the pot? Now, if you do want to use the bolster, would you like to?
No, it's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if you, Fro is declining the use of the bolster, which is totally fine. So go ahead and push up into Cobra or Bhujangasana. Awesome. And we'll be here for a while. So using your breath for concentration. And again, this posture, it does stimulate our lungs and our chest, or lungs and heart meridians. And these are also your pathway, right? If you look, this is your pathway to joy. It's also a pathway to grief, emotion, and of course, your breath. The Anahata chakra, your heart chakra, the center, as we're here, it's gently being awakened. So as you're here, ask yourself, what are you holding on to around your heart? What would it look like if you were to soften your grip on it? You don't have to push to be powerful. Continue with your breath. And the shape itself, it is like a rising cobra, right? It's not fierce, but it's aware. And then looking at the meridians, right? We're looking at the lung meridian right now. And, this is, typically where we hold our grief. And then we look at our anahata, or our heart chakra, this, or the heart meridian, this is where it governs, a lot of the joy and connection. And both are accessed here. Now to the anahata, the heart chakra, it's the meeting point of earth and spirit. The space of where we learn to give and receive. Now, as your chest rises, can you sense just a soft awakening? Continue with your breath. You're not pushing, you're not striving, you're just allowing it to be. Your breath is your guide. And if your heart can say something to you now, what would it say? Maybe it's telling you I missed something. Maybe it's saying I'm tired of holding it all together. Maybe it just wants to rest. This is the posture of resilience, not of force, but of willingness to feel. So let your breath move through the armor around your heart. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. And then open mouth, exhale. Go ahead and lower all the way down, bringing your arms forward, taking your time, resting on your left ear. Yeah. And just recognizing any sensation you may be feeling without any judgment, just letting them come and go. And another option too is you can also push your way back up and then just move into child's pose, if that feels good for you. So just coming back to your knees and coming all the way down. We'll just take a couple moments here. So let's just take a few breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. And then when you feel and when you are complete, let's meet at a seated position. How was that? I know normally Bhujangasana, we normally don't hold that for as long, but we did today and you did super amazing. So how did that feel? Like going through some of the, the thoughts, the things that were, coming up in the posture, in your breath.
I feel different. Like, I didn't know that I can do that for a while.
And you did.
Yeah.
You did. And
it's like 2 minutes more than.
Yeah. So what do you think was different? Like what was the thing?
That I did it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that I can do that pose.
You know what it is? It's breath and being present, and the things that we teach, the way the things that I teach in class. I always talk about being mindful with our movement, mindful with our breath, and just trusting our breath. And you did that. You sustained it for quite some time, and so I was like, "You go, girl!" So that was amazing. So so hopefully you guys at home are having the same type of experiences, aha moments, and just again, it's really letting our breath guide us into these postures, right? It's not us forcing our bodies to look a certain way when we are in, Balasana, right? Or Bhujangasana, or any of the upcoming postures we're going to move in. It's about letting the posture get into your body, right? So awesome. So next up, we are going to move into Halasana, which is snail. Which is snail. Yeah.
Snail?
Yeah. How was I sitting, like this or like this?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, now we're moving into Halasana, snail pose. The meridian that this, is centered around is our bladder. From a chakras perspective, it is our third eye chakra, our anja chakra. And then the theme, as we're in this posture, it is about, turning inward, right? Self-reflection, inner vision. And the bandhas that we'll engage here are our Dalandara bandha, which is, our chin towards our chest. And it's just really going to help us, just allow our bodies just to naturally fall where it does. So what I'd like for you to do is lay down on your back. Yeah. You can bring your feet all the way down here, and I will give you some assistance here. So lie gently. And then what I want you to do is, actually come down just a little bit more. Yes, just to give you a little bit extra space up there. Now, as you're here, what I want you to do is to lift your legs up, straight up. Toes up towards the ceiling. Legs straight, yes, legs straight. Yeah. And then what you can do here is if you lift up a little bit more, you can bring your hands to support your lower back, or just rest it on the mat. You may use props here. And so at this point, what you'll want to do is you can lift up your hips, and then you want to bring your legs forward, kind of like plow pose, where you're bringing your legs over. And in plow, usually your legs are straight and back, but here you can simply just bend your knees if you need to. You can also, this is where props come into place. And so with the props, we can put the props underneath your hips to allow your legs to fall over to touch the top of the mat, or as far down as you're able to. Now, you don't have to go all the way forward, but it's just a matter of, what you're able to sustain. So as you're here, we think like would you like a bolster underneath your hips here? Okay. Let's bring it up and under. Yeah. So it should just be where it gives you a little bit of lift, right? Does that feel good to you? And then you can bend your knees a little bit so that, again, there's not that, again, unlike plow, you can keep your knees bent here. And so as you're here, start to think about like allowing your spine to round like a shell, like a snail, right? Let go of the effort, continue your breath, right? And, as you're here, your bladder meridian, it runs the length of your back body. And it is deeply connected to your nervous system. Now, the shape itself draws us into our anja chakra, our third eye, the place of inner knowing. So as you're here, think about what type of insights lives within you that you haven't recognized, or maybe haven't fully trusted yet. Can you listen without judgment? And here in stillness, there's nothing to fix. You just listen. Now, Halasana folds the body inwards, like a snail tucking into its shell. And the shape really, it invokes deep rest, right? Introspection and stillness. The bladder meridian is actually it is the longest in the body, where it travels from your back all the way to your legs. inviting just a full body release of stress, of held stress. Now, as your spine starts to round, right, like the shell of a snail, you then start to bow into your own wisdom, right? We're activating our Anja chakra, or our third eye, right? We're activating that part of it. And, here in the stillness, there's nothing, there's nothing to fix. You're just here, allow your thoughts to come and go. And just know that you are also safe, kind of like into this, like a cocoon. Let your mind soften. And just trust your inner sight. Even when it's unclear. What truth is present for you beneath all of the noise that, often is in our minds. And, these are things that, only you can, these are things that only can be seen, by you when you close your eyes, right? So just being present. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. You can slowly lift up and push the bolster away, and I can actually help you here. So when you're ready, I'll pull it out from under you. Go ahead and lower your legs. Slowly, just taking your time. And then you can actually here, you can rock, bring your knees back up. And then just rock them side to side, windshield wiper them. And then when you're ready, go ahead and move to your left side into a fetal position. And then when you're ready, again, taking your time, just come and sit back up into a comfy seated position. How was that? I know you looked a little bit nervous when you saw Halasana was next.
I think it's one of the hardest poses that I did.
But how did you feel?
I feel the spinal is working with my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did anything come up for you as we were talking about kind of like looking at our, things that come through your mind, right? Our breath, our concentration, the discomfort of being in that posture for such a long time.
Yeah. The breath helps me to do that pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you did really good.
Yeah.
So yay. All right, so we now are going to move on. We have a few more postures left. Next up would be our fish pose, Matsyasana. And so we will get started. All right, so Matsyasana, our fish pose. So the meridians that this would cover would be our heart, lung, and kidney. And then our chakras that we focus on, that this will help nourish, would be our anahata, which is our heart chakra, and our vishuddha, our throat chakra. And so the theme as we're here in fish pose, it's really about vulnerability, and expression. So let's come onto the back, and we can place, we will use our bolsters for this one. Or again, I say we're going to use our bolsters, but for you guys at home, if you do not want to use a bolster, totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and come onto our backs. And we're going to place, if you're going to use the bolster, we're going to place the bolster or the block right below your shoulder blades. And so you can, bring it behind you. So it should be like right below your shoulder blades, and bring your legs straight out. So let's, so once you have the bolster, it should be much lower.
Lower.
Yeah, so let me help you here. So just sit up a little bit. Okay, lay back down. Yes. Yeah, so your head should be. Yeah, so let's come up a little bit. Okay, come back down. Perfect. And here, just go ahead and let your arms fall open. You can bring them out to a T if that feels good to you. And as you're here, I want you to start to feel your chest rise with every breath. Let your throat soften. And just allow your body just to melt. Not holding any tension, just letting it fall wherever it falls. Now, being in Matsyasana, asana, this really, I mean, it does open up our heart and lung meridians, along with the kidney meridians that are, that helps support courage. You're inviting in this position the willingness to be open to whatever is coming your way. We're also stimulating our Vishuddha, our chakra, or the throat chakra. And, you know, as you're here, I want you to start thinking about, like, what have you silenced, right, within yourself? You know, what is the truth that you have that's ready to be felt, whatever it is, even if you don't speak it out loud. You know, there is power in this softness, in this stillness. Now, fish pose is a gentle heart opener, right? This reminds us of the emotional vulnerability and power of expression. You know, the heart and lung meridians activate joy, grief, our breath. And the kidney meridian fuels courage. You know, you are lying back into support. There's no effort here, just receiving. You're receiving all of the energies. The heart chakra opens upward towards our throat chakra, the Vishuddha. Being exposed, this is the gateway for our own authentic truth. So as you continue to use your breath to stay focused, you know, think about, you know, what is the truth that's stuck in your throat, waiting to be spoken? Where in your own life, right, have you been silenced, or have been silenced because of yourself? Can you soften your jaw and breathe a little bit more into your truth? Even if no words come up or no words are spoken, but, you know, letting your breath rise and fall like waves, allowing whatever the truth is to just be, and you let your body become the listener. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose, and then open mouth exhale, just releasing all the air. And then when you're ready, you can use your hands to push yourself up a bit, to push the bolster out of the way. For those of you at home who are using a bolster, using this time to just, again, push your way up, or just wiggle yourself off to the side to, find your grip. And then, come up to a seated. How was that?
I want to sleep now.
I know.
It's relaxing.
Yeah. Was there anything that came up that is new, something that you felt?
That's new for me also.
Okay.
The fish, the Matsyasana.
Yeah. Good, good. Well, after we have 3 more postures left. So let's get ready to set up for our pigeon, our Ekapada Rajakapotasana. That was a lot, but you're familiar with pigeon. So yeah, so we'll get started on that one. So now we are going to move into our pigeon pose, which is Ekapada Rajakapotasana. And when we look at it from a meridian standpoint, it is within our liver and gallbladder meridians. Our chakra would be our sacral chakra. And as we're in this posture, it really is about emotional release. Also, it's cultivating creativity. And as we're in pigeon, we are going to activate our bandha, our mula bandha, and it really is about grounding at this point. So we'll go ahead and get started. So let's meet at a tabletop position. And then once you're feeling good here, you're going to bring your right leg forward. Yep, there you go. And then extending the other one behind you. You can use blocks or bolsters here for support. And so for you, Fro, I know we like to use our bolster. And then you're just going to simply fold gently and just breathe into your hips. Yeah. And then if you need additional support, you may use blocks underneath your bolster to bring it up closer to you. Would you like that?
Okay.
Okay, so let's get up a little bit, or just get up all the way.
Okay.
So you may take your blocks like this, brings the mat closer to you. If you have a blanket, you may also use a blanket for extra support. So would you like to try that?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So here you go. This is pigeon. So you're just going to come all the way down, extending your legs, or extending your arms, and just letting everything fold gently over. So as we're here, as you're here in pigeon, or Ekapada Rajakapotasana, it's, when we look at the liver meridian governs the suppressed emotions that we have. And the gallbladder helps with like clarity and direction. The pose really does open up the, our sacral chakra, where it is the center of like your creativity, your emotion. So as you're here, start to think about like, what are you storing in the hips? In other words, what are you afraid of, afraid to feel? This is the time for you to unravel, time to soften, and just to simply let something go, whatever that something is. Just allowing your hands to just be not holding on to anything, just letting them fall. When you think about your hips, right? Think about your hips as your body's emotional basement, right? This is where everything is, everything that hasn't been solved, this is where it's all stored. Now, when we look at the liver meridian, which runs through your inner thigh and your groin, that governs anger, right? Frustration and expression. And the gallbladder helps with the clarity, right? So it's almost that yin and yang kind of, idea, right? It's the gallbladder helps with decision making. So as you're folding into pigeon, you soften your sacral chakra, the center of your emotion, sensuality, and creativity. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose Open mouth, exhale. Just let it all release. And then slowly come up, push your way up. Then I'll move this so that, yes, awesome. And then we're just, as you come up, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move to the other side. So how did this feel? Did you want to remove something underneath? Did you feel stable with this? Or was it a little bit rocky?
Yeah,
I noticed,
rocky.
okay. So we'll just open this up a little bit here so that you get a little bit of space. And then let's do, again, props are our friends. They're here to help give you the support you need. Maybe that's gonna give you. So let's, so we're gonna move to the other side. So go back into tabletop. And then we're just gonna switch out our legs. So bringing your other leg forward. And then extending your back leg. And then coming over your bolster. Does that feel better? You feel a lot more stable here? Okay.
Much better.
Yeah. So, and we're just relaxing our arms. We're relaxing our hands. Again, you're not forcing anything, and just letting your body be, right? Allowing the posture to find you, allowing the posture to get into your body. You're not forcing anything. And as we're here, on the final side, it's, think about what stories live in your hips. What have you been holding on to for such a long time? And what parts of yourself are you asking to be expressed? Don't rush into this unraveling. Right? It may not be the need of, you may not even need to be able to identify like what that emotion is, but you can just let it move. Let it move freely and naturally wherever it ends up. And as you continue your breath, then again, letting your breath guide, whether it's the micro movements or you just melting a little bit more into and going deeper into this posture. Just know that, just say to yourself, it's okay to let go. It's safe to let go. I am in a safe place to do that. Okay, let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. And then open mouth, exhale. And as you're here, just slowly push your way up using your hands. Just coming up slowly. No need to rush. How did that feel?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything come up?
I prefer this one.
Yeah.
Because it's stable.
You looked a lot more stable and like you were able to get more into the posture and just allowing it to be. Did anything come up? Any type of, relaxed? Okay, good. It is a form of, again, it's a form of release, right? So you don't necessarily have to share that, but it's, your body just letting go of things that no longer serves its purpose. So, yeah.
I can feel the back.
Yeah.
The relaxation of the back.
It's good. Awesome. Well, now we have two more postures left. Next would be our reclined hero, our Supta Virasana. So we'll get set up for that. Right, so Setu Bandhasana, our bridge pose. Chakras that we cultivate here and balance out would be our Muladhara, Anahata, and Vishuddha chakras. Theme around, when we're here, I want you to start thinking about like integration, elevation, and that can mean a lot of things. So again, it's not about overthinking, it's just letting your thoughts come and go with no reaction. And the bandhas that we'll activate here are our Mula Bandha and our Uddiyana bandhas. So go ahead and lay on your back. Yeah, if you want to bring, yep. So lay on your back, and what we'll do is, again, you can have your blocks or a combination of blocks and a bolster and a blanket, just whatever you are feeling today. And you're going to place these items underneath your sacrum. And so fro, would you like a combination of bolster, blocks, and blanket, in bridge? How would you? And I know you like to change it up a bit. It's going to be down here on your sacral, like at the top of, kind of like at the top of your butt.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's what the blocks. Lift up a little bit. I have another one here. So this is what it would be if you have blocks. You have the option of, again, coming up higher, and then we can lay a blanket on top of that. Would you like to do that?
Okay.
Okay.
Higher is better.
Higher is better. Okay, so go ahead and lower down. Let's take this out. I'm going to take it out. I'm going to have you sit up, so it's much easier to come back down on the block and on the blanket. So come all the way down, sit up.
Okay.
And then, so it should be here. Like this is where it should be. Okay, so I'm going to bring blocks here. And if you want high, we also have a bolster. So feel free to use all the props that you want. So if you want to use the, but it's totally up to you. So you're going to make sure this is right here on top of your, kind of where your sacrum is.
Okay.
You might need to scoot up. You may need to scoot your body up a little bit more. Scoot up a little bit more. So another option here is you can be in bridge pose, so lift all the way up, push using your legs. Instead of sitting back on it, you can bring it underneath you for that support. Okay, toes pointing towards the front of your mat. Yeah. Does that feel okay? Just continue your breath. Close your eyes. So when we look at Setu Bandhasana, it is, this is, think of it as a bridge, right? It's bridge pose. And this is the bridge between the earth and the heart. Gently, it's between grounding and expression. When we look at the kidney and bladder meridians, this meridian offers the stability, right, of the posture, and the heart here opens up. The throat is lifted, and here you're activating your Muladhara, Anahata, and Vishuddha chakras. And as you're here, I want you to ask yourself, what have you opened up? What are you ready to carry forward? And just letting everything just settle. Bridge pose or Setu Bandhasana is a shape of integration. You are supported from below, yet really open above. The kidney and the bladder meridians really stabilize your energy and nervous systems. And the heart meridian is once again gently activated in this posture. It is a posture of harmony, again, between grounding and elevation, safety and expression. Really do feel your sacrum being supported here. Feel your heart lift. And just think of it as, you are the bridge between what was and what's to come. And in these final moments, you can ask yourself, what can you carry forward, softly and with intention, just as we have been moving with purpose. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose, and then open mouth exhale. And when you're ready, using your feet and your legs, pushing your hips up, and then just simply pulling out all the props that you may have underneath you, set them aside. And then bringing everything all the way down. Windshield wiper your legs side to side, bringing them back up. Yeah, just windshield wipe them side to side. Yeah, just, yeah, that feels good. And when you're ready, we are going to close out our practice together with breath. Yeah. How did that feel? Supported bridge.
Yeah, I like it. That's my favorite
Just
pose, yeah. I can feel my back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The alignment of my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was different? What do you think?
I feel good.
Good, good. Well, we are, so for those of you at home, hopefully you are up and in a comfortable seat as we close out our practice today with a breath of togetherness. Yeah, so now we're going to get set up for Supta Virasana, our hero pose, or reclined hero pose. So when we look at the meridians, right, the hero pose or Supta Virasana, this covers our stomach and our spleen meridians. From a chakra perspective, it's our Manipura, which is our solar plexus chakra. And, you know, as we're here, I want us to start thinking about like our self-worth. And it also, you know, looking at like digestion and like power. So the bandhas we'll be using here are our Uddiyana bandha, right? So that is as if you're trying to suck things in, right? This is, it's to help support our spine. So we're going to move these out of the way for right now. And what we're going to do is go ahead and come into a kneeling position.
Okay.
So kneeling position like this. Yep. And then actually you may want to come forward just a little bit, and then I'm going to come behind you to get you set up with some props. And again, for those that are at home, you can follow along with where to place the props to make this posture accessible to everybody. So I will come up just a little bit more in the middle of your mat. Yeah. So as you're here, you want to come up to onto your knees like you see here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly recline your back with props to help support you. And as you're here, you're just going to let your belly soften and then just kind of feel, right? Don't rush into getting into the posture, right? So let me heal. So go ahead and bring your, come down. You can also like spread open, yeah. And then bring your hips all the way down to the mat. Yeah, so you may want to come up a little bit more because you're going to be laying back a little bit. Yeah, and you want to give yourself some space, so you may want to, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, if that feels good to you. So like you see here with Fro, she's, you know, she has her hips all the way down on the mat, bringing her knees and legs out to the width of the mat. And so here again, it's really up to you and where your edge is at. Again, we're never ever forcing any posture or our bodies to look a certain way. It's more letting the posture guide you, right? It's all about getting to your edge. So from here, we are going to lay back all the way down into a recline. So you may want to take this step by step. So bringing your hands back, and then maybe it's just coming down here as one, right? You're here, you're supported. You can also bring the bolster. I'm going to bring the bolster a little bit. You can take a blanket and then just simply lower yourself down. How does that feel? Okay. You also have the option to use blocks to again give you a little bit more support in the upper back. And just being in this posture. You will feel the sensation along your quads. And then possibly your knees, just depending on where your body is at today. So here, just let your body soften. Find your Ujjayi breath. Activate your Uddiyana bandha. Now I want you to start to feel your breath move through your solar plexus, right? So this is kind of like around your navel, like your belly button area. Start to just imagine this, you know, warm golden light. Start to feel the warmth. As you're activating your Uddiyana Bandha, keeping that engaged. Continuing with your Ujjayi breath. And just start to feel your breath move within your solar plexus. You know, the stomach and spleen meridians help you process nourishment, physical and emotional. You know, the pause also activates the Manipura chakra, which is your personal power. You know, this is an opportunity for you to start thinking about where you have maybe doubted yourself, maybe things that you're struggling to digest in life. And while you start to think about these things, remember that, you know, rest is also strength as well. You know, Supta Virasana is also a, you know, it does really, it gently opens up our front bodies, you know, especially the belly, the place where we not just, you know, it's not the place where we just digest food, but it's where we digest life. And the stomach and spleen meridians run through this area, and it is associated with nourishment. It's also associated with overthinking and worry. And, you know, so when we look at how, you know, the solar plexus, you know, our Manipura chakra, you know, this is our power center. This is where we're able to cultivate the energy and the balances within this chakra to strengthen our power centers. And so as you're here, start to think about, you know, what are you trying to digest emotionally? You know, have you been giving too much? Have you been doubting yourself? And then as you start to answer those questions for yourself, just recognize the rise and fall of your belly. You're not forcing anything. And there's nothing really to prove here. You know, it's, you know, the world has actually taught us that power looks like pushing, striving. But here, our power is just being present. You know, claim your right to rest, right? I mentioned earlier, rest is strength too. And, you know, from the strength is where we're able to rise and begin to, you know, the strength begins to grow from that softness. Let's take a cleansing breath here in through our nose. Open mouth, exhale. And then on that next breath, using your hands to gently push yourself up. And just taking your time, you can release your legs. And then when you're ready, just coming up into a seated position. And then here, what you can do, actually, you can go back into Sukhasana and you can just forward fold a little bit just to get that, you know, that counter posture. Yeah.
Can I do child's pose?
Yeah, if you want to do child's pose, you go into child's pose if that is what you are feeling today. So, yes, go into child's pose. Here, we'll give you a little bit of extra since I know you really love it. I'm just feeling your back one, yes. So we'll be here just for just a short bit, just a couple more breaths as we set up for our final posture of the practice today. And our final posture is set to Vandasana, which is our bridge pose. And again, this is going to be a yin version where it is fully supported. So I invite everyone to come to a comfortable seated position or Sukhasana. And so, as we close out our practice today, we talked about and we experienced the meridians and the chakras, and we know they speak softly, right? They whisper what your body already knows. And for those that are at home, I'd love to get your feedback or, share your comments below on, what you learned tonight that you can carry into your day-to-day. If there were emotions that came up that you weren't even aware about. And just looking at the experience you had on the mat today into how you're breathing, right? How you relate, you create and rest or even speak. So would love to hear everyone's thoughts, and just know that you are your own healer, right? You let this practice today, remember this practice, right? Remembering the feels of all the currents of our energies, the meridians, our chakras, and hopefully they're all flowing more freely today, right now, and everything feeling a lot more balanced and nourished. And so just let everything settle. There's no need to, there's nowhere to go, right? There's nothing more to do. You've done enough and you are enough. So let's close out our practice today with 3 together breaths. So in your Sukhasana, closing your eyes and bringing your hands to the top of your mat. Let's inhale here through our nose, lengthening our spine. Exhale, letting it all out. Inhale through our nose, and then open mouth, exhale. One last breath. Inhale through our nose, and then open mouth, exhale. Let's bring our hands to heart center. I thank each and every one of you for trusting me in leading you into practice today, creating this space of energy, creating this space of safeness, creativity, and just allowing us to be. So again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and hope you take everything and anything that you've cultivated today to take you into the rest of the week, the weekend, the month, the rest of the year. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all at home. Again, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and again, share your comments below. You can also bookmark my website, which is www.almieborromeo.studio.com, and follow me on Instagram, simply yoga with Miss Almie. And yeah, so hope to see you again soon. Thank you.